Father Pat, thanks for being with us this morning. And I got to tell you, your homily on Sunday struck me. Your message of not so much forgiving and forgetting, but forgiving and forgiving. Wow, it resonated, and I appreciate it. So, tell me a little bit
Yeah,
about
that yeah, that is so essential to developing a relationships is that ability to just be able to forgive and forgive. And especially those that we love the most, right? There's always going to be somewhat of a gap. There's always going to be somewhat of a strain in our relationship, different ideas, different thoughts, and we have to bridge that gap with through forgiveness. And it's not like you just forgive and forget and you can move on, because that gap still exists. That gap will grow in different ways. That gap will be there. So it's a matter of having to forgive and forgive. Really, the last couple of weeks, the church has really given us two essential gospel passages to what it means to build relationships, to build community, to live together in a family, right? Last week we heard the gospel about how if somebody offends you just got to go talk to them, and you got to bring others engaged in that conversation. You've just got to talk to them to try to bridge that gap that exists. But now this week, right, it's essential that as long as that gap continues to exist, that we be able to forgive, that we don't dwell on that gap, we don't dwell on that hurt, we don't get angry on it and all, but that we just keep releasing that anger and keep forgiving. It's kind of interesting here. All throughout this year, we've been talking about the year of communion, about communion with not just Jesus Christ, but communion with our community. And these gospels, these last 2 weeks, are giving us those essential ingredients that we need to truly form community, to truly come together in communion, whether it is with our family, with our community, or even with society, with the universal church in general. And so it's really good here as we enter into this last season of our year of communion. This Friday we'll kick off our 40-day celebration leading up to our patrons' feast day, the feast day of Saint Simon and Jude, which will be the culmination of our year of communion. And it's good here in this last season to turn from, well, okay, so now as we come together in communion, as we come together as a community, where do we go from here? What does it mean to be in community? And the theme for these 40 days is grow and go forth, which is really the message of what we need to do as a community. We need to come together as a community so that we can grow in our faith together, so we can discern God's call for each of us together, so that then we can go forth and proclaim the good news. So over the next few weeks leading up to the celebration of our Saints' Feast Day, I want to continue to talk about how important it is for us to truly come together in communion, to truly be a Eucharistic community, but then how important it is for us to, as a community, to grow together. And then ultimately, the mission that we're on is to go make disciples, to go forth and to proclaim the word to others. And so I really look forward to these next weeks, continuing to talk about bringing us together in a community, growing together and going forth and proclaiming the good news.
It's a clear mission statement that everyone hears from the first time they set foot in St. Simon and Jude, and then they hear it often. So it's not like we don't know about it.
Right. Well, we when I got here 8 years ago, we got together to try to come up with a mission statement for our parish, and we recognized that we went to our patron saints for inspiration, for that mission statement. And so, what better mission for us to adopt than the Great Commission, the commission that Jesus gave to the apostles, including our patron saints, Saint Simon and Jude, to just go make disciples. And so we laid out what that means, and we laid out a mission statement for us, and we'll continue to use that mission statement to guide us, to welcome all into our Eucharistic communities, where we can grow in our knowledge, love, and service to God, so we can go forth to proclaim that good news. And just the more we really look at that mission statement and adopt that mission statement in everything we do, the greater we'll grow, right, into our ultimate thing of salvation, into our ultimate reward that we're looking for from God.
Well, we'll continue to keep people updated through the bulletin, SSJ at Home, and other means of communicating throughout this final season of the Year of Communion. I want to go back. I want to have one final kind of follow-up on the forgiveness issue. There are several translations of the Bible, certainly. The one that I grew up with tells me that I should forgive 7 times 70 times. What about the 491st?
Yeah. Well, the 7 is a perfect number in the Bible, right? 7 is used so often in the Bible, that perfect week, right? It's 7 is the important. So when Jesus said to forgive 7 times 70 times, he was saying forever times forever times forever. That was the sense that he's got. So we just got to keep forgiving over and over again.
Well, he chose his words wisely, and he always had a way with words. So I'll remember that. Father Pat, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Later this week.